tonight's live Zoom call. We're so excited that you're here to join us. And tonight, we thought that it would be a really interesting conversation. I want to call it a conversation tonight about the process of healing. And the reason that I thought this would be just a good time to start really talking about this and sharing our experiences is because, most of us found this on Facebook, and we're in these different groups and seeing different people's experience with it. So what we see is there are people that, just take 3 sips of the water and claim, oh my goodness, my arthritis is gone. Or I wanded my lower back or my knees for 10 minutes and now I'm out of pain. So we get those, I call them the one-hit wonders. And yes, there are those one-hit wonders, no question. But there's also people who will come on and say, I've been wanding for a month, 2 weeks, 3, whatever it is, and I'll use this in air quotes, nothing's happening. Nothing's happening. I'm not getting any result. And it's like, how do you know? How do you know what's actually happening in your body? You don't know. We have trillions of cells in this body. The amount of things that happen on a daily basis that our body is doing, always trying to create homeostasis or balance in the body, is beyond anything our human brain can even comprehend. To me, the 3,000 years of traditional Chinese medicine, the way they have mapped out their medicine, I love the way Kim will call it that, their medicine. Here's what's happening in the meridians. They have their own whole way of looking at it and languaging it, which is so beautiful, and it's so different from the way us Westerners think about what's going on in our bodies. So we really don't know. And so today we wanted to explore just the process of healing, what might be happening. And to start that, you guys, I wanted to share, and I'll try to keep it really brief. I just want to share an experience that I had on my own healing. And I'm going to try and keep it brief because I was very, very sick for over 20 years, probably about 25 years. So I was born with a propensity to eczema. And when it was in the mid-90s, something happened. I actually took a homeopathic in order to heal an eczema that had kind of come out. So with eczema, it kind of ebbs and flows. At least that's what would happen with me. So I took this homeopathic and my body exploded into, I was bright red. I looked like I was sunburned from head to toe. I mean, bright red. And from there, I just started to peel. My skin flaked and flaked. I would flake off sometimes 10, 12 layers of skin. I would get out of bed in the morning. Sorry for this visual, but I just want you to know how sick. And there would be like a pile of skin in flakes. I had no energy. It went on and on. And I'm only telling you this because I went here and there to some dermatologists, and all that they had to give me was definitely cortisone. And yes, I I lived on a lot of cortisone. It was the only way that I could live, and I thank goodness for it. It did allow me to live a certain way. It didn't heal it, and I would still go in phases of it. But the only other thing that they would tell me was they felt like it was my body attacking myself, and they wanted to give me immune suppressant drugs and immune suppressant shots. And I actually had a friend of mine that had a different skin condition. She went for that. They were extremely expensive. She did it for a few years. And in the end, sorry, I don't want to be morbid, but because she had completely depressed her immune system, she was out one day, she got a cold, and within a month she was dead, because you can't suppress your immune system. Imagine having done that before COVID, right? Luckily, I knew enough to not do that. I knew enough to not do that. But what happens when you've been really sick for a while is you create stories about what's happening in your body. You create stories around it, right? The human brain tries to find patterns because we want to be able to control what's happening. So I created all kinds of stories about it. Mainly, I was sure that there was just maybe if I found the 3 things that I was eating, maybe I was reacting to food. So I ended up basically, eating 5 foods that I thought sure I wasn't going to react to. This went on and on, so I don't want to keep going, except to say that all these stories, and over time, my story became, I will never heal. Doctors have nothing for me. So when you believe that nothing's going to heal you, and the doctors that I would listen to or see, they would say, you just have to go through it, get off all of the cortisone, and you just have to go through this. And when I tell you go through it, it meant being in hell, being in absolute hell. Like I couldn't live, I couldn't teach, I couldn't do anything except sit there and be in misery. So about 3 years ago now, this was right before COVID, I was giving up my hands. I mean, I don't want to say I was suicidal, but let's say I was pretty close. And a dear friend who was a healer of mine said to me, Renee, I'm really getting this hit that you need to go do this one Joe Dispenza meditation. Now, I'm a Joe Dispenza aficionado. I love his work. I've studied it for years. But this was a new one, and it was a heart-brain coherence. And she said, I'm just getting that this is the one you need to go and listen to this, do this meditation. I get chills just doing this. So I went, okay. I didn't, I couldn't move anyway, might as well put on a headset and listen to the meditation, which I did. And in this meditation, Dr. Joe takes you out, I'm going to call it just into the quantum field, and gives you this heart to brain coherence. It opened up the possibilities. It's very much about going out and finding possibilities for the healing. And I listened to it a few times and I got really deep into this meditation. And all I can tell you was, after I had done it about a week, I just knew something was changing inside. Yes, that was my story, but that was a good part of my story. And what happened was I was on Facebook and I just happened to see a couple of posts about this doctor in South America who had this healing for what I had, which was called red skin syndrome. And he claimed that it wasn't your immune system attacking each other. It wasn't any of the things that I had been told. He claimed that it was a systemic staph infection, and he had this really inexpensive compounded formula. And there was a doctor in Texas that studied under him. And ladies and gentlemen, all I have to say is I contacted this man. I sent him pictures. This was all done over the internet. It was affordable. He had a compounding pharmacy. They sent me this and it arrived. God, I'm going to cry because it's just so powerful. And I started to put this on. And within the first treatment, I could feel my skin that was always like tight leather starting to ease. Now, I didn't get healed the first 5 minutes. Yes, I could feel a change. And over the next month, I was now able to live. And over the next month, it continued to get better, and it continued to get better and continued to get better. And over the next 2 years, I pretty much completely healed. Now, what's really interesting too, though, is when you have chronic illness like that and you start to heal, there's still all this old stuff. Because listen, I've had it for 20 some years that still would crop up, that I still needed to heal. I still needed to heal the belief systems around it. I still needed to open up the energy channels around belief and the issues in the tissues and process the emotions that come up around chronic illness. I had to heal those. What do I mean by that? I'll just give you one example and then we're going to move on from this. I couldn't get hot and sweat. If I would get hot and sweat, I would get extremely sick and itchy. So over time, I went on a vacation. It was a beach vacation and it was hot. And there was that old closed down fear around, oh my gosh, like what happens if I go out and I get hot? I was like waiting for that feeling to come over me. And I had to continue to meditate and no, that's old stuff. I had to process that through my energies field, through the body. You've got to heal through the body and process through the body. It's not just the belief, okay? The belief, I can change my belief, but I still have to process it and heal it through the body. Healing is a process. It's not a one-time do a wand and 5 minutes later it's good. It might happen like that, but for the really good juicy healing, healing is cellular. And that's the promise of the wand. So I know you probably thought I was going to give you a big wand story. But what I can tell you is now I've been using my wand since, say, the beginning of June. And the amount of healing that's happened over time consistently by just staying aware and staying awake and noticing, it just keeps getting better and better. I like to say, I just feel like I am aging backwards. That truly is how I feel. It's how my skin is. Look at my skin, you guys. You just, Cheryl had seen me, Kim saw me when I was bright red, etc. All right, so enough. I just wanted to share that. That's my story of healing. And now I really want to turn it over to Dr. Kim, because Kim has some just beautiful ways to share, you know, the idea and the process of healing in her way, in her medicine. So Kim, would you unmute yourself and come on out?
Yes, I will. I will. Hi, everybody. So I don't even know where to begin. But just to follow up with Renee, you know, she's just right on with healing. In my practice and for 23 years, I've seen some people that wanted instant results. You know, our patients want instant results. We're a society of taking an aspirin, taking a pain reliever, an over-the-counter pain reliever, and it works. So we want that instant gratification. It just doesn't happen like that for the real true healing. It's a Band-Aid. And what for the real true healing, if you have a cut on your skin, you know, you can always put the Band-Aid on, but it's not usually the Band-Aid that's healing the cut. It's your own body. It's cells that are healing you, or what you're whether you're going out in the sunshine, whether you're getting air to the wound. There's many things, you know, that happens with a healing process. But we just have, I think that we I want to call it graceful. And I think that that's what the blower is. It's just one other tool that we have. And I think it's going to be a big tool. I think it's going to be something that everybody will have in one way or the other, whether, you know, we've all started with the classic and, you know, then there's the premium. So, you know, we'll have it. And, you know, just like I feel that we'll have a battery operated blower soon, because I think that's the best of the best. You know, I'd like not to plug it in, right? Yeah, but I've been in this for, like I said, 23 years, and I've seen a lot of things come over my desk, a lot of different healing modalities, and each and every one of them has their own beautiful qualities and their own grace. You know, from patches to vitamins, different vitamins. I mean, we're always getting more and more on our plate from, you know, from electric stim. Think about what electric stim now, it's a common name in our household. You know, you go to the physical therapist or the chiropractor, and you have e-stim, and everybody going, yay, e-stim helped. But now we just happen to have a terahertz blowing wand, you know, and that's how we evolve in our medicine. And so I think that that's where we're going. And I don't think it's an instant gratification. I don't think it's a feeling of instant gratification. I think it's your healing is deep and down, and it's like peeling. We've all heard like peeling an onion, one bite at a time. You know, it's many times I'll say, my patients say, I'm not getting any better. But then when we review, they go, oh yeah. I'll say, you know, remember you couldn't lift your arm to hook your bra, but now can you hook your bra? Oh yeah, I can. They just have to realize that you know that healing is taking place and in so many different ways. And you know, it's not like a facelift. You see, oh gosh, facelift, great cheeks, great eyes, eyebrows are up. Where if you do a facelift with the blower, or you do it with acupuncture needles or any other modality that's more natural, it's all subtle. And I think this is the healing medicine that's subtle,
Beautiful.
right?
I love that. Yes. And healing, right? Healing on all levels. I think that's what you're saying. Yes, we're all thinking about, oh, I have a pain. It's a physical pain and I want out of pain, which of course we all do. And yes, it's going to do that. But the deep healing is emotional healing. It's the mind-body healing, right? It's the spiritual healing. And yes, I'm going to use the S word in whatever way that means. But those are the deep healings that happen. And the terahertz absolutely is being shown. It does help the body do all those things.
Right, right. And you know, I of course, if you know what, I always think if someone says, wow, you're not using the cart to push yourself around in Sam's, right?
Uh,
Or you know, or Penny's, wherever there's a cart. And oh my gosh, I can't believe you're just walking normally. Or I can't believe you're stopping to lean against the wall. Well, those are big things. And all of a sudden you realize, no, I'm not, you know, I don't have to use any kind of crutch, as we, not real crutches, but you know what I mean, whether we need to hold on to the wall or something. But we never realize that till somebody draws our attention to it. Or wow, your face looks great. Did you change makeup? Did you change your hairstyle? Well, no, you're reversing the aging process with all the tools that we have. And I think that's what the blower does. Um, so yeah, but we wanted to go into also areas of healing with the wand. So you know, we have in traditional Chinese medicine, we have pathways or meridians. So one of the big life force one is the kidney meridian. That is the life force that you get when you're conceived, actually, is the kidney meridian. And on the screen, you have the kidney channel, kidney meridian, and that's the channel that goes up. And kidney 1 is on the bottom of the foot, and that is the most amazing acupuncture point, but we don't love putting a needle there because it's kind of ouchy, right? So I am so happy that I have this blower in my office that I can activate that acupuncture point. And it's beautiful. It's beautiful right there. and my patients get very, very relaxed when I use the wand, the terahertz wand on kidney 1. That's also a beautiful female point and male point. It's a female and male. But you can take your wand and go all the way up here. Now there's this picture that you can go all the way up the channel and all the way up to the clavicle, which is really close to the lung meridian, which is the grief meridian. And, you know, that happens sometimes. We're grieving because we're in pain. We're grieving because we lost a job. We're grieving because maybe we're leaving a home that we loved, but it was better to, you know, get a new home. I mean, there's a lot of different stages of grief. And so kidney 27 up there is real close to the lung meridian, which is the meridian of grief. So you can activate all these things. Go, you know, taking the blower up the body, and the channel is on either side too. And you don't have to do both channels. You can activate the right or the left, and you're doing both channels. You don't have to be even, but if you feel like you do, then listen to your instinct and do that. So I love that whole channel. It's a beautiful, beautiful channel to do.
Hey,
And
Kimmy, down here, I know, can you kind of talk a little bit, even like kidney 5, kidney 3, kidney 8, these are really powerful points too, aren't they?
Yeah. Well, all the ankle points, obviously they're great for holding the body up. You know, you're actually thinking about that when you do any ankle points, but also like you're talking about specific points, Renee. You're talking about 3 and 8.
I'm certainly up to you. I
Sure.
know that these are like powerful points I've heard,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah. Well, let's look at kidney 3. It enriches the kidney, and also it invigorates. I'm trying to do something that more, it rectifies the womb, actually. Kidney 3, it actually will instill the ability to conceive. But also the kidney 3s for sore throat and for toothache and deafness and coughing of blood, irregular menses, insomnia. All those points are great just for sleep. So toothache, you could go down the kidney. Just think about the kidney being, you know, the life force of you, the energy point. Then you have like kidney 9, and that point is a great point too. But it is clears the heat and transform phlegm. Phlegm meaning, you know, so it's the heat from the body. The phlegm can be a lot of different things. Phlegm can be real phlegm in your throat, but also phlegm can be a tumor. Phlegm can be abdominal fat. But also, now this point, kidney 9 is for fright. So that is kind of interesting, right?
Right.
And but it's also relieves pain. It's a great point to relieve pain. So it takes on all these acupuncture points. I'm gonna have to pick up the dog in a minute. um, it like kidney 8. It supplements the kidneys. It is actually very good for if you have a kidney infection. But it also regulates, again, menses and urinary, if you have a urinary block or you have kidney stones, it's a great point. But it also is a mind point. It calms the shin, calms the heart, calms the shin. Anyway, so.
Beautiful.
I don't know whether he likes me talking about, different acupuncture points. Maybe he thinks he knows some acupuncture.
You can feel free, obviously, to pick up on
Right. But kidney 5, oh my gosh, kidney 5, it also does the menses and regulates everything. So a lot of it is a lot of female organs down there, but it also all of these will calm the mind.
Beautiful. Kim, on the kidney reading, like I know kidney is typically when you think about organs and emotions, is
Yeah.
typically fear. Am I right about that? Is kidney fear?
Yes. Yeah.
So if you're feeling like that's okay. If you're feeling, go get that puppy. If you're feeling a lot of fear for whatever reason, random, or you have a reason to have fear and you just want to release some of that, I'm going to make an assumption that also going up the kidney meridian can really help tame down or tap down some emotional fear.
Yes, definitely.
So, and when we're doing it, we can just start here, like, and just go up, like you don't have to spend a lot of time because it just blows right in and stimulates, right? Just go all the way right up and then again, maybe do it a couple of times and you're going to hit all those points, right?
Yes, definitely. The male, the resolving male erectile dysfunction, it's all along that kidney 11. I mean, that happens. Men age as women age, what we have menopausal points around the ankle, and then we come up there, and then you can work on that for the male. It's a great kind of meridian. But I love, you could do all these points in one point together is the bottom of the foot. And I think it's very interesting that that's one of the balancing treatments, right? That we do kidney 1, we do the bottom of the feet, we do the palms of the hand.
Right. So it's all there in those acupuncture reflexology points. So I would think, especially if somebody's been really chronically ill, right? So that their life force, which would be their kidney energy, might be really low and really need, and you can't heal until you have enough energy and vitality in your cells to allow the body to start to heal, which is why that basic protocol can be so good. Let's start to charge up the cells, give your body some life force energy, start to give it some, right, so do some unblocking before anything can really happen at a deeper level.
Oh,
So
yeah.
the kidney channel would be just a great one too. And of course, again, that is what they're talking about here. Hands right
Yeah.
behind the knee. You know, we're all in this in the groin area.
Yeah, they say that the meridian, the whole meridian controls bone, hair, hearing, and growth development. So see, that's yeah, that's the whole, that's the big kahuna, I feel.
Yeah. So the kidney meridian is a beautiful one. Awesome. What would be your next one that you want to talk about? And I will.
I'm going to talk about what do we want? Oh, I know, the vagus nerve. Right?
Mhm.
Okay, so when I stimulate the vagus nerve, and why I stimulate it, or why I activate it, not stimulate it as much, I do it to balance the entire body, because the vagus nerve is the longest nerve in the body. It originates in the brain and travels all the way down to the lower internal organs. So it's a fundamental regulator of the parasympathetic nervous system. Now, how great is that? Correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it controls, vagus nerve controls all of the involuntary processes, such as digestion, heartbeat, respiration, and it's responsible for restoring relaxation. So can you imagine that when you want a response of the body, and sometimes it's just the vagus nerve that's a little off? I think we've all heard that if you're taking a shower in the heat, and if you hurry up and put on some cold water, it helps the vagus nerve. So yeah, which is a killer for me. I like hot showers. So, but it is great for your body to get in that cold. You know, we see all the athletes getting in the ice baths. So it's that is regulating their heart rate, their respiration for them. And so, but it also is a great stress reducer to activate the vagus nerve. And we have an acupuncture point in the ear, and we have many acupuncture points in the ear, but you have that picture too, the ear, or the point in the ear, but you might not be able to just get that specific point. But if you go and you blow the whole ear, you're activating lots of things, and you're helping your body. Again, every organ of the body has an acupuncture point in the ear.
Hey, Kim, something that's so fascinating. You know, there's a lot of research now going on about adverse childhood trauma, and a lot of trauma reaction, and that trauma is stored and or released through that vagus nerve.
Yeah, through the vagal.
The vagal response.
Right.
So if you're somebody that has had a lot of trauma, and just know, again, when we've had a lot of trauma, it's locked up in our tissues, and we start to give the body these beautiful healing frequencies, and the body's like, yeah, let's start to release some of the trauma. So sometimes you might find that you are wanting, whether it's here or wherever, and all of a sudden you'll hit a place and you might just feel like a whole bunch of emotion come in and out. I know when I would teach sometimes my general somatic yoga, and it's very relaxing as people start to relax with
Yeah.
that small movement and deep breathing, all of a sudden they'll just start to cry. And it can be like a little bit disconcerting. And I just like to say, just let that happen. Don't create a story around it. You don't need to know what that is, right? Just allow it to process through. And I wouldn't be surprised if there are a lot of people who are working in this area in the vagus nerve, and then all of a sudden just have a big release of emotion. And it can be a bit unnerving if you're thinking, oh, I just want to get rid of my back pain, right? And all of a sudden you're like sobbing for no reason.
Yeah, yeah. You know, and that takes us back to this kidney meridian too. You know, that is your life force. That was what you've been given during conception. And so during, you know, when you are conceived, you're given that kidney life force. That is the first channel that develops. And so if there's a childhood trauma, the kidney meridian would do it. If there's a for people that are on the spectrum, this is the meridian to work on. But so easy to do when it's at the bottom of the feet. You know, we could go to autism and autistic children and autistic adults or autistic humans. We can go there and talk about that too. I think it's so important to talk about something like that, right? I mean, everybody must know somebody, but you know, kids especially, they don't like that they're so tactile defensive right, most autistic children are. And how easy is it to just blow the points, just blow that meridian, just blow, you know, it's warmth, it's calming, and you can help them calm and help them be able to, you know, that's with the vagus nerve too. You know, you work on that with autistic children too, to regulate.
Oh, Kimmy, I think that's a whole Zoom. We're going to put that because that is so huge. And, you know, and it gets right down to even, yes, with them, but with all of us, stress is the biggest killer. And boy, everything that we've been through in the last couple years, and you know, and the teenagers, but just all of us, everybody's so stressed and chaotic, and you cannot heal when you are stressed. The body is in fight or flight. There's no energy reserve there to help the body now start to heal. And again, what a beautiful way to use the wand and to stimulate these points, right, for relaxation. That's fascinating.
Yeah, yeah.
Fascinating. Now, I know I've been told, and so share with me if this is, would you agree with this? This vagus nerve, I love this point. I can't wait to go. when we're done here, I'm gonna be blowing in my ear. Even more than I always do. But that there's some places to behind the earlobe. And then maybe down, is it also true like the back, one of the places we do in our basic protocol is the back of the neck?
Sure, sure. And going, well, that's where the vagus nerve starts, right?
Right.
So that would be, yeah, the point right behind the neck is a good point. I was just doing acupuncture points, but a lot of chiropractors will do a vagal nerve release. And that is in the back of the neck. They use a ball. They describe even putting a ball behind your neck and doing the release. So I'm sure the blower would do the same release, right?
Yes.
Someone asked me, I don't have my wand with me, but somebody asked me, how am I going to do my back? Well, I want to tell you, I just put it like this, and it does my whole back. It goes all the way down. And, again, if we're looking at acupuncture points, there are acupuncture points assigned to every organ going down the spinal process. So you could get this, and you can go, go do your back and go do your ear and do your neck.
Right.
And you've done every organ in the body.
Yes.
So Dan asked, how long are the results of blowing on these points? So I'm thinking, Dan, you mean, it's like anything. It's kind of, I feel that blowing, doing the points, it's kind of like, taking a shower, or, I think that when we do it in my office, if they don't have one already, because I have to prove to them that they need to buy one because it's so fantastic. But where you see patients 1 and 2 times a week, but we're seeing a big response by just doing it 1 to 2 times a week, and giving them the water before and after treatment. And then and if they will, I had some of my patients bring in a mason jar, and then I'll blow that for them to drink the rest of the week. So at least it's helping them the few days later, right? So until they get their wand.
Oh, Kim, I have to tell you too, just like thank you so much for sharing it with your patients and recommending that they get it. It just really shows what a real healer you are, in that, I think that there are other practitioners that would be like, oh, maybe I'll lose my patients,
Yes.
if people have this wand and they won't come to me for the needling. And you're just like, I just want everybody to heal. Like, you
Right.
can still
Great.
come, and it's still really nice to have somebody else do it for you and do it on you and
Yes.
a little bit more specific. But I
Yeah.
just thank you so much for just being like, here, this is a healing tool. Go grab it and use it to heal yourself, heal your people, heal your pets, heal your plants, right? Heal the world. That's what it's here for.
Right.
It's such a
Right.
beautiful healing, self-healing. So I just really want to honor you for that. Thank you so much for
And
doing
that's kind of like, I think after you and I spoke, Renee, you know, I called acupuncture friend of mine and I said, have you heard about this IteraCare wand? And she says, yes. And I said, what? And she says, I have one. And I said, yeah. She says, let me tell you, if I allowed my patients to buy it, I would have no patience. And I went, really? And I said, so I looked at it as not the lack of patience. I looked at it as, you know, oh my gosh, what I could help my patients with. Because, and, you know, you figure, you know, an acupuncture treatment, you know, in nowadays it's anywhere from $100 a treatment to the minimum, maybe 75. There's not too many people that are charging less.
No,
Well, what's 350? What's 1,000? You know, when in the grand scheme of things, right? People are buying, women especially, are buy makeup sometimes close to the amount of money, right? Or they buy supplements. We buy supplements, and we always are, you know, something will pop up on Facebook, and okay, I'm gonna buy this, oh, I'm gonna buy that. And where, you know,
right,
one device.
right. And you have it and you use it, and it heals so many levels. And I think that's, if nothing else, that should be a big takeaway from tonight, is that it's not just getting you out of pain, which is wonderful, and I am not discounting that at all, because when we're in pain, that's all we can think about, and that's a beautiful thing. But when we really look deeply at it, there's just so much deep healing that happens with the wand, and it happens over time. And it's, you know, just keep doing it. Do you have to do it daily? No, you don't have to. It might even be a good idea to take a day off here and there, allow the body to keep absorbing it. But now you have it, and just allow it to really get into your cells and to open everything up and to really create that deep healing that we really are also searching for. And what a beautiful way to self-love. It's just, to me, it's just self-love, to be able to use it in that way. So Kim, thank you so much. Anything else that you want to share
Yeah,
right
yeah.
now? Go ahead, go ahead.
Just to tell everybody, a while back, Renee and I wanted to do a symposium such, and it was going to be the power of RE, power of RE. And I just, if this isn't the power of guys, you know, like regenerate and revive. And, you know, I mean, all the power of here it is. We never got to do that
Yes,
symposium.
yes, yes, I see it coming.
But, you know, it is so great. I mean, it gives you everything, you know, just like stem cell. I wanted to talk about stem cell therapy. And if somebody goes out of the United States and gets stem cell, so the real deal, right? And they get stem cell, sometimes you don't get an instant fix. Some people are leaving there and they don't get any kind of result from the stem cell for sometimes a year, but for sure 3 to 4 months. And so, gosh, you know.
See, and I didn't really realize that because I hadn't had a reason to have stem cell therapy. But that's a really, really big, I think, powerful thing because it's expensive and people go and they inject it like in knees. And it's really, stem cell is there to go to whatever tissue, organ, etc., needs to be regenerated.
Right.
And then regenerate. And so it can take time. I would love to, and on that same idea, Kim, let me just share this one thing as well, as I thought this was such a great picture. It's
Yeah, I love
powerful.
that.
I like this one too. And that how your body rebuilds itself in, it says in less than, but let's just go to in 365 days, how it takes a lot of time to regenerate all the different cells. So this is like in stem cell, that the DNA
Yes.
renews itself every 2 months. That was fascinating to me. Did you guys realize that our DNA regenerates itself? So if there's a problem where it is regenerating and it's not accurate, right? That's how we end up having, dis-ease, right? Whatever word you want to use, whatever diagnosis. And so to be able to have this beautiful terahertz that can come in and really help, hopefully, shift, change, whatever word we're allowed to use, the DNA. Skin, how about blood? That the blood renews itself in 4 months. So when people say, well, I've been blowing for a month and nothing's happening, how do you know? Right? It takes the blood 4 months. And we know how good this is to open up microcirculation and help the viscosity of the blood. The brain rebuilds itself in 1 year. Okay, a year, but boy, in another year, I'll be happy to have new brain. I can assure you of that. Keep that brain a clicking, right? Liver in 6 weeks, stomach in 5 days, bones, the body rebuilds a whole new skeleton in 3 months. It takes time. So that whole idea, thanks, Kim, so much about talking about stem cells.
Yeah. There's so much to talk about this one too, right? That's why we try to do it every Thursday and get on with it. You've got so much to be thankful for with this. And it's an affordable option. It's an affordable, health care. Where can you go into a physician's office for that much?
So true. So true. Well, you guys, we're getting out of time. Tell me, anybody that would love to come out, we'd love to hear any testimonials maybe that you had, some situation that's going on. If you have questions for Dr. Kim, please, this is the time. We'd love to hear from you guys. Who would like to share? Oh, really? Nobody wants to share?
Dan said it allows the body to direct its healing to meet its own needs. I love that.
Yeah, that was beautifully
Yeah.
said. Beautifully said. Hi, guys. Libby, is there something you'd like to share? So good to see you, hon.
Sure, I'll share. I've had how to say this? Well, I just turned 70 years old. About 2 years ago, I lost my husband after 50 years of marriage. But all my life, I've been into, well, as a baby, I'm similar to Renee. I was allergic to everything. You name it, I was allergic to it. I had infant eczema, all of that. When I was 16, I changed my diet and went health food as much as you could on Guam. And then for the last, well, about 5 years ago, 25 years, I owned a health food store. So I knew about all of this stuff. I've been into all the same things, acupuncture, chiropractor, you know, I'd rather do that. I don't go to doctors unless I have to. Until about a year ago, after my husband died, my body collapsed on me. And I think it was just all the stress of everything. And I sold my family home of 60 years and just one thing after another. And I just couldn't take it anymore. So I've been in car accidents, so I have a bad back and everything. So when I saw Renee talking about this wand, and I've always been into frequency. I'm in Joe Dispenza too. I'm in all of those, you know. Gaia is my favorite channel, so I really pay attention to frequencies. And this just seemed, quite honestly, too good to be true. And so I would research it, and I research anything before I will do anything with it, whether it's supplements or anything. And I thought, you know, I did the same thing. Oh, it's from China. What do they know? You know, that kind of thing. But, you know, I saw more and more testimonials and things, and I thought, you know, let me just give it a shot. $350 to me was like well worth it, you know. And was funny to find out there was a stockist here on Guam where I live, and I was able to get it within a day. So that was, you know, like, okay, if it was that easy, it's really meant to be, you know. And I've been using it now for about 3-4 weeks. I just started just with the water because I'm very sensitive to a lot of things. So I started with the water, and then I just started with the palms and feet and gradually went into the whole protocol, the 10-point protocol, with the exception of the top of my head, because when I got sick, I did get high blood pressure, which I've never had before. And so it's the things I've noticed are very subtle, like Renee's saying, you know, a lot of it, like my skin has changed dramatically. It used to feel very dehydrated, and it's now very supple and soft. I have a bad back from a car accident that I've had for, oh geez, almost 50 years. And while it's not totally gone, I used to have to lie on the floor halfway through the day just to kind of adjust my back and fix it. I don't have to do that anymore. My frozen shoulder is almost gone. My
Libby,
blood
I have to
pressure.
stop you for just one quick second. Just, I have to make a comment. So you guys, did you just notice what Libby just did? So Libby said, oh, you know, it's been subtle. My skin's better, my back's better, my frozen shoulder's better. That ain't subtle. Sorry, keep going. I'm like, so
Well, it's subtle
excited
that
for
you don't really notice it until you notice it, you know. That's more what I mean by subtle. It's like, oh wait, you know, this is working now, you know. You know, and I can you know, I've had a sore neck from my car accident, and that's, you know, not as stiff as it used to be. So
Wow.
there's a lot of things that, you know, um, I'm noticing that, because like I also had lymphedema when I got sick. And that gets rid of the swelling, so I won my one ankle that's real sensitive, and it gets rid of it. Not totally, but it diminishes it. So yeah, a lot of things like that, that I'm noticing results, even though I don't do anything other than the water and do the protocol. And that's pretty much it. I'd love to be one of those that's losing weight over all of this, but that hasn't quite happened yet. But my body needs a lot of repair. It's not young, and I'm working on it. But yeah, I'm sold.
Oh, Libby, thank you so much for sharing that. That is so exciting. And I'm just going to make a comment real quick about the weight. Because I've been in that business for a very long time. And just keep going, which I know you are, and doing it, because what I've seen over the years too, and with this, is a lot of times for us women, especially when we've gained weight as we've gotten a little bit older, a lot of that is inflammation.
Mhm.
Right. And so as we continue to heal, and as that systemic inflammation starts to get tapped down, which is what's happening, right? And as the body heals, exactly as you said, the weight will just start to come down. I've seen it. You've seen it in groups, you guys. If you're in a lot of groups, people are like, all of a sudden, like I've been wanting for 2-3 months and my pants are falling down like out of nowhere. I know I lost about 4 or 5 pounds, really even since June when I started. Yeah, because it does reduce the inflammation, and inflammation comes
It's
down, and
weight
that'll
loss is not the reason I got the wand. That was,
understood.
I just sort of started seeing that. I thought, oh, that'd be a nice side effect.
Right, right, right. And you look great. Wow. Thank you so much for sharing that. Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you. Anybody else that would like to share or ask a question? Nobody.
I'll
Go,
share,
Dan.
I'll share a little story.
Thank you.
And this is a heartfelt story. This is something that's close to me right now, that I've been living through this for a little bit, and it's not affecting me other than mostly emotional. But I would say that a member of my family has not taken good care of themselves. And as a result, we hear it all the time. I know I've said it through my experience as a coach and fitness instructor, that it's never too late.
Mhm.
But we ought to take a moment to really think about what that really means. Because when you say it's never too late, it may never be too late to change your mind and your belief systems around something. But it can be too late to respond to a physical or health concern, because your body is beyond repair. Bone on bone situations where if if you're experiencing obesity and you need to move and you've got so much pain in your joints that it's infeasible, impossible, beyond your tolerance level to even do that, then it might be too late for that activity, but it's never too late. It's never too. We started out talking about a belief system, about believing. And you have to, there's always a way. There's a way, the way to to make an improvement. But it may not always be there for you as you'd always thought it would be. So you have to absorb and rationalize to yourself that I can still make these improvements, and a wand may be an opportunity to do that when nothing else will. And maybe that opportunity has left you too if you fall into the category of contradictions. So it's the sooner you can get into that belief system that your health is important to you and you want to make those changes, today's that day. Because around the corner, so many things are waiting for you. And the trajectory of our life and our lifespan and our health, we know which way, if we haven't got a plan, we know which way that trajectory is going to go. We're all going to get there sooner or later. It's just the ride that we take to get there.
Mm. Yeah, beautiful, Dan. Thank you for that. And I think just to follow up with that, I think it's in the same realm of what you're saying. For those of us who love other people, family, friends, we so want it for them, don't we? And what we have to learn, and we learn it, especially those of us who have been in the healing field for a long time, to recognize that we can't want it for somebody more than they want it for themselves. We can offer it, and then it's up to them. And not everybody wants to heal. Not everybody's ready to heal. And that's okay. That's their process, right? And we have to allow everybody to have their own process. We offer with an open heart, and then we have to let it go without any attachment to whether they take it and use it or they don't. And that can be challenging when it's somebody that we love. So thanks, Dan, for sharing that. That was really powerful. And sending love to whoever that person is and hoping that they make the decision. But again, ultimately, it's theirs. Right? Yeah, thanks. Beautiful, you guys. Anybody else have anything before we end for tonight?